Bro, I had one name and one name only.
Okay.
I got 4.
Oh, and this is gonna sound horrible, but it's only one name. It's crap, I can't remember his name now.
Hello, I'm your host, Kenan, and welcome to Creative Control, the entertainment podcast. Joining me from our Creative Control team today, we have Neil, the tribal boss. I acknowledge you. And Sashman, half amazing. What half are you today, Sash?
I feel like half a man today. It's been a bad week.
Half a man. Sorry, bro. I'm sorry. But hey, hopefully we can cheer you up because today we are going to be talking about Street Fighter the movie. This is going to be coming out on the 20th of March 2026, I believe it is, and it's being done by Sony Pictures, which doesn't give me a lot of faith. We've seen what they've done with Venom and Morbius, Carnage, Uncharted, but hey, who knows, they may turn a corner. But here we're today going to be casting Street Fighter the movie. So we're going to be picking up the characters, giving our thoughts about who we'd put in the movie. And hey, it could be anything goes here. We might have some real wild cards. So my experience with Street Fighter, obviously, is growing up. It's the arcade. It was like the Mega Drive 2, I think I was playing it on, where other people were playing it on the Super Nintendo and stuff.
Yeah, I was Mega Drive.
Yeah, and I played it on the PS3 and stuff like that. I think I played Street Fighter 4, but that's probably the last point I got off. But obviously, we've had many incarnations of that game over the years, all the different editions. So I think my first question to you guys is, what's your experience with Street Fighter? I definitely know kind of Sasha's, but Neil maybe not so familiar with. But then also, what kind of version of Street Fighter or what incarnation would you think best suit the big screen? So Neil, let's start with you.
All right. Well, my history with Street Fighter is I have played every Street Fighter from Street Fighter 1 to Street Fighter 6.
Okay, right.
I've played every incarnation, every permutation of the game. I've played Street Fighter EX. I've played Street Fighter Alpha Series. I've played, Street Fighter 3. I'm well versed in Street Fighter. To be clear, right. Street Fighter is my favorite game. This is my favorite video game. So,
okay, right.
Yeah.
This is why Neil has made every effort to be on this podcast. Because when I posted about what we're going to chat today, and I was like, yeah, let's do Street Fighter. And he's like, this man's in Prague. And he's like, I'm dialing in. I'm appearing. So this is an international episode of Creative Control.
Right. That's good because it's an international game.
That's it. Exactly.
International game. You Prague.
Right. Sasha, what's your experience with it? And then I'll come to what you guys want from it.
Man, I've played every incarnation of this game.
Yeah,
almost just about every edition, everything. Okay, even different platforms, all the platforms. Whether it came out on Spectrum, whether it came out on the Amiga, whether it came out on the SNES. Street Fighter was the game which made me go, I want a Super Nintendo, because I wanted a Super Nintendo because of Super Mario and shit. But I hadn't just made the leap yet. It was one of those ones where I had an Amiga, and it was like, you get what you bought, blah, blah, blah. If you want anything else, you got to buy for it yourself. And I did. I went and got a Super Nintendo. I saved for that machine with Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And that decision was, when it was coming out, I heard it was coming on the Amiga 500. I was like, yeah, it's coming out on Amiga. And I get it with the 4 discs that you had to swap halfway through the game. And then with the one button and doing that was not the life after playing it on arcade. And especially when you're playing it next to around your best friend's house and getting whooped on the SNES version, which had 6 buttons. And on the
I bought the arcade stick for the Mega Drive. So you had the arcade where you had with the arcade controller and the 6 buttons, and you had like a turbo button. And I used to play with my sister, and even she would beat me at like 5 years old because she plays Chun-Li and just hit this turbo button, and it was just Chun-Li kick, just constant. It's like I couldn't even get near it. But sorry, Sasha, you were saying.
But just
every version.
Just every version.
And you've played the recent one as well, haven't you? Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, I played Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, cool.
I'm not really a fan of
Mhm.
like the new way they've got the buttons and stuff because
Okay.
we're getting some cheap players whooping out spinning power drivers out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
Back in the day when you could whoop out that move, it was earned.
Yeah, you had to
You got
work for it.
special.
Yeah.
You saw it special. You can pull out the fucking spinning power driver from Zangief for full. Because for ages, all my friends were, oh, Zangief's a shit character. That's because you don't know how to use him. You know what I mean? Even me, I'll be like, yeah, Zangief, I don't get because every time I play with him, I'm getting whooped. But then I played on arcade stick on 360, and that changed my whole worldview because now I can do this power driver anytime I want. Done. Dead.
Then.
Zangief's one of
You
the
know what,
best
right?
characters, man. Hands down.
Yeah. If you can see, I'm sure you guys can't see it. I'm sure you guys can't see it. There's a tiny little dot on my
I
thumb,
can see
right?
that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see that.
that's a callus
Yeah.
that I've had since I want to say maybe 97.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that came from playing Street Fighter,
Mhm.
trying to complete it with every character.
Okay. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
I
So
tell
this
you,
game
my-
has literally scarred you.
yeah, I had, and I'm sure Sasha had this as well, right? Do you remember I think it was the Tiger game where it was like
Oh, the time. Yeah.
yeah, I had
Yeah.
two
The
of them.
LCD game. Yeah. You had
Yes,
that.
I had.
Oh, wow.
I had two of them. I had the one that had Chun-Li and Guile, and then I had another one, and it was like Blanca and someone else. And I remember when I didn't have the Mega Drive, that's all I had. I battered the hell out of that thing.
All right. So Neil, what kind of thing do you want to see from the movie then?
For me, I mean, I'm a purist, so I'm gonna say that your story needs to be basically Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
I know we've moved on from M. Bison being the boss, and that's the end of it, but stick with the classic plain and simple storyline where you've got a bunch of things that have happened in the past that you can reference, and you can say that everything we're doing can lead on to something else.
Okay.
Right?
Who would be your main character?
My main character would be, I mean, if I'm honest, there wouldn't actually be a main character. I would
more of
kind
an
of,
ensemble.
yeah, it would be an ensemble thing. I'd kind of take it very similar to the animated Street Fighter movie, where you've got the likes of, Chun-Li and Guile are on the hunt for M. Bison, and that brings you into conflict with a bunch of characters. M. Bison is on the lookout for one or two people. That brings you into conflict with characters. Ryu and Ken are in it and they're doing their thing. That brings you into conflict with other characters. I wouldn't be like, oh, because I think, and it's going to be contradictory to other things later, but I think if you make a Street Fighter movie, it needs to you only have two ways of doing it. You focus on one character, or you focus on all the characters.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Right? Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean,
Similar
just to touch point on the Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, that's what got me into anime back in the day. That was my gateway to that. And if anybody's listening, those people who are watching, I say if anybody's listening or watching, there may be nobody listening or watching this, but if you are watching and listening to this, go check out Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. That will, if you haven't seen that, it's a treat. Absolute treat.
Like Fei Long versus Ryu, Chun-Li versus Vega, Ryu and Ken versus M. Bison. I'm sorry. I know this is sacrilege and people are going to try to like burn down my internet connection for this. There ain't been a battle, a fight in Naruto, in Dragon Ball Z, in Demon Slayer, in any of those things that can match up to the energy you felt watching those three fights go at it.
All right. Sasha, what do you want from a Street Fighter movie?
I think Neil really nailed it there. I mean, like, go to the core of 2. However, and use like the backstories for the backstories. My version of Street Fighter is definitely that, like what I'd go story wise and stuff. Because you understand, like, I know Capcom did the Alpha series, which was more or less a quasi remake of 1 with kind of like an in between cool kind of thing there. But but Alpha 2 is like my go-to. That's actually my favorite Street Fighter game, Street Fighter Alpha 2 kind of thing. And I've grown to like and appreciate Alpha 3 because when it came out on release, I didn't like it because if you block, it had an energy bar, and if you blocked, you know what I mean, like it would break. But you know, you got to understand, I was a shit player then, and now I'm a better player now. I don't need no energy bar for block. I'll sort you. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not the best player either, but put it this way, energy bar for block, that's cool. That's the blocking's for shit people, man. You got to know your combos, you got to know your parries. You know what I mean? Like Alpha 3, I don't think there's there wasn't parries in Street Fighter 3 because Street Fighter Alpha 3 they brought parries into 3. But you know what I mean? Like block, you can't block for too long, man. You need to be aggressive on that game, unlike my playing abilities on Call of Duty, but that's a whole other story. But anyway,
that's another podcast.
with Alpha 3, that kind of brought some ideas, I thought, into this movie because it's kind of like an in-between cool. So between 1 and 2. But yeah, I'll say that if we go into our versions of it, but obviously I was influenced by the movie, as you said, as in the animated movie. Even my version's influenced from the Van Damme movie as well, as well as the Malibu Comics version of Street Fighter, which was the first comic book iteration.
Wow.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, I got all of them, man. I got the UK version and the American version. So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm pulling from. But then I'm also open to hear other people's interpretations as well, because Street Fighter is so versed with the mythology and stuff, and there are people that probably follow the shit more than I do. I'm not going to pretend that I know. There was a point where I was majorly into it, but it's been years now. And now as an adult, we've kind of lost our way of shit in the fandom and stuff. But you know what I mean? Still playing Street Fighter every day, Legacy Collections on my Switch. I'm playing it every day on the Switch. Since the best £8 I ever spent on the Switch store, because I'll be playing Call of Duty, and in between, like waiting to log into
the loading screens, he's playing Street Fighter.
Yeah, I'm just playing Street Fighter, getting whooped.
Yeah, I think for me, again, somebody who's not played the games as much as you guys, it makes sense for Street Fighter 2, that kind of era, to be the gateway for this movie for the majority of people. And they will be familiar with some of those characters. So if you were to ask the average person, they could probably maybe say Ken or Ryu or, you know, Chun-Li or E Honda, you know, some of those. So I think that's definitely something that you could do. I think in terms of the way that we can introduce the characters, there's, for me, one of the best openings to a movie that introduces you to a cast of characters is Con Air. Right?
Yeah.
Con Air, when they talk about everybody who's on the plane and they give the dossiers, and then you see clips of what they were doing that got them into that situation, you could have that. So say you had like Guile and Chun-Li having reports on these people, you know, and seeing glimpses of their past or where they're based and stuff like that. You know, so you don't obviously want to show everybody who's going to be coming into the movie later, but some key characters. If you did that kind of narrative, I think that would really work in this movie.
You know what? I just pictured Van Damme being in it, not as any of the characters, as a homage.
Just as a general.
Just as a general homage, as a character that has a part to play in the story. And maybe he's the guy that announces the players. Not like an announcer, not like round one fight, not that guy, but like literally like a guy that's like, we've got a couple of mean players here, blah, blah. I don't know, but
Well, look, I mean, when you were saying about that little dossier, all I was thinking about was Street Fighter, the animated movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, the whole opening 20 minutes is dossiers.
Yeah.
When you really think it through, you've got the opening, which is the Sagat versus Ryu fight at the end of Street Fighter 1.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Right? That fight ends, and then we move on to Cammy doing what she does. And then boom, immediately we're in a dossier, and it's like Chun-Li, and she's like, This is Cammy White, and this is what she did. This is Sagat. This is Balrog. This is Vega. And you're like, yeah.
They tried to do that with
this.
Suicide Squad, but just it didn't hit home as well. Right, let's go into it. Let's start talking casting. So, probably where we should probably start is probably Ryu and Ken. So let's start with Ryu. Okay, so I'm going to mix it around in terms of who goes first and what characters. So, Sasha, I'm going to come to you first. Who have you got for Ryu?
Oh, man. Okay, first up, right at the bat, my boy, Jonathan Fu.
Jonathan Fu,
who's already played Ryu, because that TV show, that YouTube shorts, he was the original Ryu in the original short film that got recast, actually got recast. And I'm going to say a story about this because John needs justice. Those guys that made that series, shame on them, because they wouldn't have made that series without John's name. And John got recast. Once they got the rights, whatever happened. I've only heard John's side of the story. So if you guys want to say your side of the stories, come on, Creative Control.
Come on, put it in the comments.
We'd love to hear your points of view on this. But I'm just saying, I saw your thing, and it was. I'm not saying this because this is before John even told me the story about how you guys got the license, and I will call out people. But I think you did him dirty. But you know, I've only heard one side of the story.
Yeah.
But
so
anyway.
Those people may be not familiar with the name John Fu. There was the Rush Hour TV series in America, and our friend John Fu played Lee in that series. Yeah. And did really well.
And he was also the lead in the Tekken movie. He played Jin.
He was. He did.
He played Jin in Tekken, and he was in the Warrior King. He has a full-on fight scene with Tony Jaa. So yeah, John Fu, he'd be my Ryu. Okay. He's not my first choice, but you know, if I was making a movie, I'd give him a shot, mainly because he did an awesome job in that short film, and we know some of the fan base really liked that short film, and there were questions about why isn't John in it? John was done dirty, according to John. So, I'm going to throw that out there. But hey, you guys who are the creators and the producers of that's thing that used his name to get the Capcom license. Good on you guys as filmmakers. You managed to make something, but that, I guess it's show business, not show friends. So, you know what I mean? Like, but it'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm going to throw some shade there. Second choice. This one's kind of like an upcoming guy. He's been in a lot of our lists before. Henry Golding. He's not my first choice as well. He's not one of my top tier people, but he's there because I'm being a realist here. We're trying to build a movie. We need some upcoming people that, that have followings and stuff like that. Henry Golding, but he's not my guy. Okay. We're going to get into the real stuff now. Daniel Wu, martial artist Daniel Wu. He's in quite a lot of kung fu movies. He's a contender for me. Daniel Coy, also a martial artist who I last saw him in Bullet Train. So he's a contender for me. Here's one. This is like a Marvel DC thing here. Joe Towson, who was in The Raid, but also played Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat.
Okay, yeah.
In The Raid, he was the guy that was always angry all the time, kind of thing, that gets shot. Him. Now, these are the two that really impressed me. One's a martial artist, the other one can fight, but he's more a dramatic actor. Okay. And the first one is Jin Zhang, also known as Max Zhang from Ip Man 3, that had his spin-off Master Z. Okay. That guy, that's my guy. Okay. I'm going for a Japanese guy that can act, that's big, and he's a big star. He's a big star in Hong Kong, huge star. And this is an international cast. Okay.
Yeah, he is.
He is literally up there with Donnie Yen in my eyes. Okay. He's fucking that good. All right. So Max Zhang as Ryu. If not him, this guy, not on the same level of martial arts as Max Zhang or John Fu or Joe Towson, is Sho Katsumatsu. Okay. Now Sho Katsumatsu was in the show I watched recently, Tokyo Vice. He is one of the lead characters. He plays a Yakuza that starts from the bottom, works his way to the top kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy has the dramatic chops to act.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He has the look of Ryu as well. He can do it. Okay? He can do it. So if you want someone to, like, he can fight because he does fighting in the show, but it's not like proper martial arts fighting. You know what I mean? It's more brute force kind of shit. But put the man through, you know what I mean, through training and stuff. We build the fighter. That's my guy. If I was going for an actual, in fact, you know what? Fuck Henry Golding. I only just put him because he was on everyone's popular list. Fuck that guy. I've seen Snake Eyes be Waste Man in that fucking G.I. Joe movie. Fuck it. That's how much this kid impressed me. All right.
Okay.
And the fact he's an unknown, you know what? I think it's better it be someone like him than anyone else I mentioned, because Ryu is the unknown entity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's the unknown entity of the whole tournament, okay? Of the whole tournament. And you need that. If you have a famous person, or he's just that guy from that show. Ryu, to me, is a Superman casting. But that's just me.
Unknown. Yeah, okay.
That's what I think. That's what I feel. I think it suits the character as well, because he's not doing it for fame. He's just doing it just to be a great fighter. You know what I mean? Going town to town, place to place. He's OG Kung Fu. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Right, cool. All right. I've got two. So, first of all, I've got Andrew. I don't know if it's Koji or Kojai.
Koji. Yeah,
Right,
that's
so
who I
Andrew
had.
Koji. Yeah. So Bullet Train. I think. Warrior, Snake Eyes, Boy Kills World. Great actor, and he can do it. If I want to go box office and get maybe a little bit more of a draw, if I'm going to expand my casting, I'm going to go for Simu Liu.
Fuck that.
Shang-Chi. Yeah,
I like
so
Simu Liu, but not my Ryu, man.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But if I've with my producer head on, if I want some feet through the cinema door, he might be my guy. So,
I'm saving my
in
A-list
terms of the character, Andrew Koji, he'd be my first choice. Neil, who you got?
I have two names. I have Andrew Koji, and I have, and this is gonna rub up against you, Sash. I have Mike Mo.
I got Mike Mo for something else.
Mike Mo, who played Ryu in Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, who was the guy who replaced your friend John Fu.
Yeah.
Like, now I don't know all of what you said about John Fu being replaced, and then once they got the rights and all of that, I don't know what is from what isn't. All I know is that I love Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. I love the shorts that they made before Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, and I just I was fortunate enough back in 2014. I got to meet them right before Assassin's Fist came out as a Blu-ray DVD.
Yeah,
I got to actually meet the guys who made it, and I'm just like, from everything that I encountered, stand-up guys. So I was just like, and looking at it, I was like, if it couldn't be Andrew Koji, then it would have to be Mike Mo.
Okay, cool. I think we're going to be coming from different perspectives on this, because I'm going more blockbuster. I don't care about the fighting.
Oh, no. We'll get to my blockbuster.
Yeah, because I'm like I can do anything. We can do anything in editing. Right. So I'll go first for Ken. So I've got two. I'm playing around with this role. First up is Ryan Gosling. I think that'd be hilarious for him as Ken. He'd be in my box office, but also Glenn Powell. So Top Gun Maverick and Twisters. So he'd probably be my first choice. So yeah. Neil, who have you got for Ken?
I have three names. I have Christian Howard, who pretty much unknown. He played Ken in Street Fighter Assassin's Fist.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So him again, because I was like, especially the way him and Mike Mo kind of bounced off one another,
Oh,
it
okay, yeah, I
fit
remember him now.
very
Yeah.
well. Yeah. So the two of them, I had Cam Gigadent or Gigadet, right? He was the bad guy in Never Back Down. I think his character's name was Ryan.
Oh, okay.
He
Just
was
looked him
like the
up.
rich, the rich guy. So him,
Oh, he
and
was in Twilight as well.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and the brother from Cobra Kai, Tanner Buchanan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, I
Right,
like that.
but with him, I think he is somewhat he's a little on the young side.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's my Ken's.
Yeah, unless you played that into the narrative between Ryu and Ken, sort of like the young guy.
Well, this is just it. I think there's a wide scope of the casting from Ryu and Ken. You can either, because you got to understand, in the original 1993 games, they were about 35, I do believe, mid 30s or something. All the characters were roughly about 35, 40 ish kind of thing, and I think a couple of them were in their 50s, like legit in their 50s, because it has the stats of each character.
Yeah, and it's got their date of birth.
Yeah, date of birth and stuff, but you have to work it out from 1960 or 1950, you know, what age they'd be in 1993. So, you know, it's a bit of a weird one. So, but I think there's plenty of scope to cast a young version of the character and an older version of the character, and you can see different variations of where it could go depending who gets cast of each one. That's why I've got a long list for certain. You know, with Ken, I had a lot of fun with Ken. Okay, because I knew I wanted him to be the opposite to Ryu. I wanted him to be more jokey. He's a movie star, stroke, I mean, model, that kind of thing. You'd see him on adverts and television, that kind of thing, and he's, you know, trying to prove himself, you know, to be a serious fighter in the game. And I was just like, you know, my first thought, I've always said like Owen Wilson looks like the OG artwork of Ken when he gets beat up. Okay. And then I thought and festered on that. And I was just like, that'd be so funny because like Owen Wilson, like you could get him to look hench and stuff. He doesn't have to be the greatest fighter. You know what I mean? Like put him through martial arts training, you build the fighter there, and like just his whole fucking shtick in fucking Shanghai Nights. You know what I mean?
Right.
The comedy of that with someone more solemn and more, you know what I mean? I see Neil go, no, this isn't it, but fuck you, Neil. This is Sasha
not a 55, right? But yeah, go on.
But it opened the door because I wanted Ken to be more comedic kind of thing to other actors. Yeah. Okay. And also other performances. So I was looking at actors like Lucas Till, White Russell, Ansel Elgort from Baby Driver. He was also in Tokyo Vice and
West Side Story, right?
West Side Story. Obviously, Tokyo Vice had a massive impact on me recently.
Yeah,
but he's really good in that, and seeing him in that culture and like the fact he can speak the language like that, and I know he's a very good talent. He's not a fighter, but again, you build the fighter if you're serious. Like the Matrix, they built them. You know what I mean? So again, I agree with your casting because I'm going for more comedic. When you said Ryan Gosling, that's who I thought of as well after Owen Wilson, mainly because you build the character. When I think of Ryan Gosling, I think of The Nice Guys. Yeah. What if that guy was Ken? You know what I mean? What if that guy was Ken, but with a better, funnier, punchier script? And then, the wild card for me, though, all right, and this is box office, Chris Hemsworth.
Right, okay.
Who I never thought of before, to be quite honest. But later incarnations of Ken, Street Fighter 6, who are they basing it off? I'm sorry, hate to break it, but it is the Hemsworth guy, man.
Right, okay.
So,
interesting.
You know, I'm going by looks of artwork here, obviously with Owen Wilson, but originally, look at that first image from Street Fighter 2 World Warrior, where he's just there like that, and like the other one where he's beat up kind of thing.
Because he's
like,
even got the nose,
like,
hasn't he?
Yeah,
So,
that's what did it, man. I was like,
yeah.
I'm just going surely by artwork here, you know. Sure, there's different variations and whatnot, but once I had Owen Wilson in my head, I was like, you know what, he needs to be a funnier balance to what.
Yeah, it needs to be
Ryu
different.
is.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, needs to be different, and
all right.
they're the double.
Have you got any more?
No, those are my. Oh,
Those
I
are
had
your
Chris
votes.
Pine as well.
I'd probably go Chris Evans over Chris Pine, but yeah.
I had Chris Pine as well. Evans I got for something else.
All right. Okay. Cool.
But I'll save that for later. But funnily enough, in my version, like Ryu and Ken are in it. They're in it. They're because it's an ensemble, but you meet them along the journey,
Sure,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we'll get to
right.
that later.
Cool. Neil, let's go to you. Who have you got for Chun-Li?
I have one name and one name only.
Okay.
Amy Kwan.
Amy Kwan. Where do we know Amy Kwan from?
She is Mia in John Wick 4.
Oh,
Okay.
right. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I could go on board with that. I had two names. One, again, when I think of box office and posters, one was Gemma Chan from the Eternals, Creator, Humans TV series. And the other one was Jessica Henwick. She was in Iron Fist and The Matrix Resurrections and stuff like that. So they were my two picks for Chun-Li. Sasha, who have you got?
I have both of those.
Oh, okay, cool.
I have both of those. I have Gemma Chan, but Gemma Chan's great, but Jessica Henwick can fight.
Yes.
Okay. When she upstaged the Iron Fist in his own damn show,
she did indeed.
you know what I mean? That's what got her the Matrix. Okay.
Yeah.
She's a contender. So my other choice is Zhang Zi, straight up. Zhang Zi.
Oh,
Crouching
yeah.
Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Rush Hour 2. That girl. All right. Because she looks like Chun-Li. And also she can fight. Okay.
Yeah.
Anasawa from Shogun. She'd be great too. Ayumi Ito from Tokyo Vice. Yeah, sorry. I got to get all my guys from Tokyo Vice in there. All right. Like, she'd be great too. And Jade Z, who's a stunt performer.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Been in a lot of films, a lot of Hollywood and Hong Kong films. She's also in a lot of video games. So yeah, people might be familiar with her. But out of all of those ones, you know what? Now that I've said all the choices, it is Jessica Henwick for me. It's hands down Jessica Henwick because she's an up and comer. She can fight.
Yeah.
She, you know what I mean? And if not her, definitely Anna Sway.
Yeah, I like that pick because she's done Monarch Legacy on Apple TV. And she was in Fast 9 as well.
Yeah,
so, I could definitely see her.
Zhang Zi would be spot on, but her age is a factor for me. But she still looks great. You know what I mean? So,
all right. So that is Chun-Li cast. Let's move on to E Honda. So this is probably who's going first here? I think it's Sasha, isn't it? You're up first. Who have you got for E Honda?
Okay, my E Honda. I'm just going to cast a sumo wrestler.
Yeah. So I did.
Just going to cast. So the guy I got, Yamamoto Yama, Ryuta. I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to struggle with my one as well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That guy looked like the spitting image of him. He's a current sumo wrestler going on at the moment.
What's his name again? I'm going to compare him to my one.
Yeah.
So before you do, does your name, by any chance, begin with W?
No.
Okay.
So we got three different ones. All right, Sasha.
We got three different sumos. Okay. Four. Oh, you got four sumos. Right. Okay.
So Sasha, what's his name?
Yamamoto. I can't pronounce it, man. I'll just text it to you.
Okay. Yeah, do that then. Yeah. So I had a couple. One I had a little bit of fun with. I mean, he's not probably from that. He's not from that descent. He's Samoan, but Samoa
better
Joe.
not say Rikishi.
No. I went with Samoa Joe. I thought he could be really good in it. And then if I really wanted to take the piss, Scott Atkins in a fat suit like he did with John Wick. I think he'd be amazing. But yeah, might have some trouble getting that past. But the sumo wrestler I went through is Ishura Shinkan Osuke. So I probably completely butchered that. But when I saw the picture of him, he just looked brilliant. Because he's the type of sumo wrestler that looks almost jacked as opposed to just big. And and for me, he kind of fit the profile for me. Absolutely.
Fair dues.
Neil, who have you got?
I got 2 names to round off our 4.
Mm-hmm.
The first name is Wataru Aichin Osi.
Okay. Yeah, you'll need to text me that as well. Because what I'll do is I'll put some pictures up of these guys.
Yeah. So he's the lead character. He is his name is Kiyoshi in Netflix's Sanctuary, which is a TV show about sumo wrestling.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah, so he's the main brother in that. And the other name is Don Lee. Don Lee. So he is that big, monstrous boxer brother from Train to Busan.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I've just looked at the one from Sanctuary, and yeah, he looks pretty good, I have to say.
Yeah. It's very problematic with E Honda because it's very problematic with every character. On one hand, you want them to resemble the character. Mm-hmm. On one hand, you need them to be able to be somewhat good at some level of martial arts because they have to represent someone who can fight.
Yeah.
And then on a third layer, you want someone who can act because regardless of whether this is Street Fighter based on a video game, there's going to be dramatic parts. You know, you're going to want people who can act. It's those 3 points of a triangle rubbing up against each other on who you can cast. And I'm like, Don Lee, he's not Japanese and he's not a sumo wrestler, but he's a big, burly Asian man who can fight. And I'm like, and he can act because he's done some dramatic roles where I'm like, he's the guy. You look up a film called, I think it's The Gangster, the Cop, and the Devil. You'll know about some acting.
All right, cool. This is my guy.
Okay, yeah, he does look indeed like E Honda.
So yeah, especially with that outfit, I was just like, I'll take that to the bank. Right, okay, so that's E Honda. Let's move on. Let's move to Guile. So I'll go for this one. Guile, I've only got one pick. If this was made like 10, 15 years ago, I would probably gone with John Cena because that just speaks Guile. But I've gone with Alan Richardson from Reacher. Yeah, for me, he's just, that's a slam dunk. He's a beast, military style. So yeah, he's my Guile. Neil, who would you have?
I have 5 names.
Jeez,
this is probably my longest thing. So first pick was Scott Adkins.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's not blonde, but in my head, I visualize him from I think it's Ip Man 3 when he's like the US military commander, and I'm like,
wasn't that 4?
Was that 4?
I think that was 4. Yeah.
It might have been 4. It might have been 4. It was 4 because 3 was Mike Tyson. Yeah. So that's right. 4. And I'm just like, Ip Man 4, that outfit, just tattooed the American flag on his arm. He's on the hunt for bison. Good dude. Cool. So I had him. And this is why I stayed quiet with some of your other castings, because I also had Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I had John Cena.
Yeah.
I had, like you, Ken, I had Alan Richardson. But I also had Channing Tatum.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I had all of those guys.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I had all of those guys.
Did you have anyone else?
I thought Alan Richardson was going to be my wild card, and Tatum and Cena be my wild card. But it's amazing. Great minds think alike.
Turned up in all lists.
Yeah. Yeah, I got other names, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else in particular you want to give a shout out to?
Glenn Powell was my first and original choice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kyle.
Or I pick,
I was going to go with Glenn Powell for him there.
that would work.
Rather than Ken.
Yeah.
Chris Pine as well. I got him both as Ken and Ryu because he's that diverse. Sorry, Ken and Guile. Sorry. Jensen Ackles.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Jensen Ackles. And then you know what sold me with
Supernatural.
Boss Logic did a picture of Alan Richardson because I was thinking Alan Richardson, but the reason why I was anti Alan Richardson is Guile ain't that big in the game. Okay, he's quite short, all right, compared to other players in the OG game.
Yeah,
height-wise. And I was just like, nah, he can't be Guile. But then Boss Logic changed my mind real quick, and I was like, yeah, all right, Boss Logic, you sold me. He's Guile. He's Guile. But then because I picked him as Guile, because I had him as Guile, I started thinking of other people that kind of archetyped, and that's what led me to John Cena and then Channing Tatum. So yeah.
All right, cool. Right, let's move on to Dalsim. Who's going first this time? I think it's Neil. You're up, aren't you? So Neil, give us your Dalsim.
Am I up for Dalsim?
Oh no, I think it's Sasha.
Well,
it's background. Oh, it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, go for it. Who's your Dalsim?
Bro, I had one name and one name only.
Okay,
I got 4.
Right, and it's just gonna sound horrible, but it's only one name. It's crap, I can't remember his name now.
That one Asian
Monkey
guy.
Man, Slumdog Millionaire.
Dev Patel.
Yeah. I got him as well. Because of Monkey Man. Because of Monkey Man. I've got other guys. I've got Rahu Kalihi. I'm probably saying his name completely wrong. And Ram Kararan. They're two.
Ram Charan. Yeah, I had him from RRR.
Yeah. So him from RRR. And and my wild card. Here's the thing. All right. Here's the thing. Dalsim in Street Fighter is one of the oldest fighters. He's almost 60. He's almost 60. All right. In Street Fighter 2. Okay. So obviously everyone's going, oh, it's a fighting game and you go for Dev Patel, blah, blah, blah. No, I went the complete opposite. All right. And I was like,
I think I know where you're going with this, but yeah, go on.
Why? Who'd you think?
It's the guy who played Gandhi.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I was gonna go with Sir Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, that's it, Sir Ben Kingsley. Yeah,
I was gonna go with Sir Ben Kingsley.
I fucking know you, bro.
Like, I don't need to fight. Okay, he could do his yoga with the stretchy arms, CGI, Mr. Fantastic style. You know, disappear and shit. You know what I mean? And most of the time he'll be meditating in trance. You know what I mean? At peace, and people trying to do like some wake up and shit, and then he wakes up. He's got the white eyes and shit, and yeah, man, that's one way to do Dalsim, man.
I agree. I
was like, and you could make him a joke character as well. He doesn't have to be all serious, you know.
Yeah, a little bit like where he was in Iron Man 3 and Shang-Chi and stuff like that.
But the way I see Dalsim, he's a man of peace. So he's just there. He's just meditating, and maybe Ryu sits next to him and he can feel his chi in it, and he just says some wise word of wisdom before the fight in it.
Yeah, he could be that one guy. He's like the silent guy who, like you say, he's always meditating, doesn't say anything throughout the movie except he's philosopher, gives his philosophy and this and the other. Then that one time where it really matters, arm stretch, boom, takes the guy out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And the thing is with Dalsim, like he doesn't need to be a main character.
No.
You know what I mean? He doesn't need to be a main character. You know what? Now that we've said it, Ben Kingsley's my fucking pick. Because if you pick Dev Patel, you pick Dev Patel, because of Monkey Man, people want Dev Patel to whoop some ass and do some shit. You know what I mean? Same with the other motherfuckers. But you put Ben Kingsley, you're only going to expect a certain amount of Dalsim.
Yeah.
And when you think about the big roster, there are other characters that have more storylines connected to the main big bad with more stakes.
Yeah.
then that's him, you know? So, like the Street Fighter movie, the animated movie, you have characters in that movie that don't really do much, but they're there. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
I mean, Dawson's in one scene.
Yeah, exactly. My key players are what's it? Guile, Chun-Li, Ryu, and Ken.
Mhm.
That's my main. Everyone else are just other fighters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Okay. Right. Let's move on. So next up, let's go for Blanca. I had two names, and the go-to was going to be like Dave Bautista. And I was like, okay, but you know what? No, I'm not going to go there. I'm going Roman Reigns. I want Roman Reigns as Blanca. I think he'd be a beast. Hoo-ah! So yeah, that's my pick.
See, I can't see him doing that. The Rolling Thunders. I can't see him doing them.
All he has to do is turn that spear into a roll. He's all good.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do see it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why you selected him.
Yeah. All right. So Neil, who have you got?
Ernie Reyes Jr. Yeah, Sasha's laughing because he knows exactly what
Is
I'm
that who
talking
I
about.
think it is?
He's
Is that
exactly
Rufio?
who he. Yes. No.
No.
That's not Rufio. That's not Rufio.
Oh, this guy from like Surf
Yeah.
Ninjas.
Oh,
Yes.
Jesus. Fucking
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Red Sonja.
He is in a movie. He's in that movie, Welcome to the Jungle, with The Rock and Sean William Scott and Rosario Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
And it just he has a fight in that film. I think it's with The Rock. And the way he's swinging in trees, he's fighting in the middle of the jungle. And I saw it and I was just like, paint this brother green, give him an orange wig and let him go.
Wow, right. Okay. Sasha, who have you got for Blanca?
I don't.
You haven't cast him, no? CGI?
CGI, maybe it's a contender, or you just get an up and coming person or an unknown and just put them in makeup.
Beast.
And shit.
Would you go CGI or would you go makeup?
I haven't decided. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends because I don't think he needs to be CGI. I don't think so. I think you could do it all practical. It'll look better practical.
I probably wouldn't go as dramatic. Maybe more werewolf style a little bit. If you can,
yeah, maybe.
You know, the way you can make up somebody up to be a werewolf. Maybe something similar to that. I know,
Justin, what are you doing, man? You want to be Blanca in my new Street Fighter movie? Let's go.
You can have him take on John Fu.
Yeah,
right,
man.
let's go for Zangief. Sasha, who have you got?
I've got a few people for Zangief, you know.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think I'd have a few, but okay. I can't pronounce the geezer's name, but Game of Thrones, The Mountain.
Yeah, Hafthor Bjornsson. Yeah, that's who I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's him. The other person I've got is Braun Strowman.
Oh, yeah, Braun Strowman. Yeah.
If he could,
nice.
If he could pull off a Russian accent.
Yeah,
Russian accent.
I mean, his voice is so deep, he could pretend, and you wouldn't really know the difference.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So,
nice.
so those are my two picks. But then I want to have someone that's done something dramatic, maybe. If you want dramatic chops, Florin, the guy from Creed 2, Drago Jr.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. That's a good shout.
Yeah. So those are my three Zangiefs.
Yeah, I like that last one. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neil, who have you got?
Miroslav Barniashevich.
Okay.
Known to you, Ken, as Rusev.
Rusev, yes. How did I not think of Rusev?
From WWE Wrestling, Rusev, or in AEW Miro. Him. He would be my Zangief. He's not as tall. Show. He's not as tall as the Mountain or as Drago Jr.
Yeah.
But for me, as a wrestling fan, seeing the Bulgarian brutes handle business in that ring, and I'm just like, just put him in there. And because being a wrestler, a professional wrestler, he already knows how to give somebody like a power bomb without killing
a
them.
power driver.
So I'm like, he can give them a power driver and all of these. He can pull off some of these maneuvers without injuring his opponent, which means that I would trust. If I'm like, okay, he's gonna have to have a fight with whoever. I don't need no stunt double. It's going to be the two guys who have been cast. They're doing it because when he does that power bomb or when he does that power driver, I know that person's safe, but they're going to take a bump today.
Yeah. No, that's a good shout. I really like Rusev. That's really good. Okay, let's move on to Balrog. Sasha, who do you have?
Okay. There's only one name.
Other than Mike Tyson.
But there's only one name. But I put in Mike Coulter in there as well. Iron Fist, not Iron Fist.
Okay.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
I put Luke Cage in. Okay. But no, fuck him. It's Iron Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
There can only be number one. Okay. Look, Balrog in my version of Street Fighter is not in it that much. He's in it for one fight to do everything. You may as well get the guy that the guy was based on. And also, Iron Mike is doing movies where he's playing that exact same role anyway. If you want a good example of it, watch Ip Man number 3, okay? Or number 4, or whichever fucking Ip Man he was
number
in. Number 3. Yeah. Watch that fight. He's fought martial artists and lost and take a good whooping as well. He's fine. Get Iron Mike in. Cool. He'd be great. Have him up by the Golden Nugget Nin Ball. I'm pretty sure it's not too far from his house. He'll be all right.
All right, cool. That's a good shout. I had one other name, and it's based on because of what I've seen him in, Jonathan Majors. I would have put him in there after his performance in Creed 2. I would have stuck him in there.
That would have been lovely. That would have been a lovely pick. That supersedes my pick.
Oh, okay. All right. Who have you got, Neil?
My pick, I had Rampage Jackson.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mr. T, right?
Yeah, so he was he was BA in the A team. But that Jonathan Majors, that's a gold. That's a gold pick.
All right, let's move on. Let's look at Vega. Who have we got for Vega? Neil, you go first.
Yes, I got two names, and they both have the exact same first name.
Okay.
I have Diego Luna, Andor.
Oh, yeah. Andor, yeah.
Or Diego Tinoco.
That one doesn't
He's in a TV show called On My Block. He plays a character called Cesar Diaz.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I've just looked him up. Yeah, I can see that. Nice. He's got that face. Yeah. For Vega, yeah. I just went Pedro Pascal because why not? I'm thinking Pedro Pascal, sort of like Game of Thrones type of how he played that kind of character. And that's how I went for him. Sasha, who'd you have?
Unknown. Complete unknown.
Would you have him completely masked the whole time?
I'd have him the majority of the time. I did think Jared Leto, which is the least likely choice and not fucking thing. But the reason being is that my Vega would be straight out of the animated movie where he's an assassin. He's barely in it. He's barely in it. He's got the mask on the whole time, and I'd want the fight between him and Chun-Li. I'd want that exact fight, but real life. And literally, the only time you see his face is when he says the one line, "Look what you've done to my face, you bitch!" And then when I thought that, for some reason, I thought Jared Leto. So,
do you know what was wild?
And that'd be his one line in the whole movie.
I had one pick for years, right? And then when I was like, I want to cast someone who is at least somewhat Latino, if not Spanish, straight out of Spain, I had Luke Goss.
Oh, Luke Goss, right? Okay.
Yeah,
from
I
Blade,
remember,
right?
Yeah, Blade 2, and because in Hellboy 2, Hellboy the Golden Army, he plays the villain.
That's right.
Yeah, and seeing him with that long hair, I was like, this motherfucker look like Vega.
All right, cool.
So yeah, I'm like,
All right, let's move on. So let's talk Sagat. I had one pick for Sagat, and his name is Marco Zaror. He's a Chilean martial artist and actor. He was in John Wick 4, Machete Kills, but he's like the star of Fist of the Condor. And let me just give you a little look at who this guy is. So he normally has hair.
Literally looking him up now. I want to.
How tall is he?
In this. I will try and find that information out for you, my friend. He was he actually was on the stair fight in John Wick 4.
Oh, okay.
He was the big hench guy in this. He's 1.188, so almost 1.90 meters. So probably like 6'2", 6'3".
Okay.
Something like that.
Sounds like a contender to me.
Yeah, 6'2", I think.
Definitely.
I had a complete unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I would go Thailand and find a Muay Thai motherfucker.
Just go find a beast.
Yeah, just go, and I'll be like, "Who's the tallest henchest guy?" Because
cool.
the way I see it is like Sagat doesn't need to be a versatile actor or even a big name. He just needs to look menacing and have like the most menacing dialogue that anime villain would have. You know what I mean? He doesn't need a monologue. He just needs to be pure rage because he's the right hand man to Bison. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
People are there for, in my version, people are there for the Sagat fight, but for the Sagat fight and whether Ryu would show up, kind of thing, because no one knows whether the contender from the previous year will show up. Yeah, that's the basis. That's the whole thing. And then Bison is just at the event, kind of thing, and Interpol and all that government agencies are looking at this tournament to get this guy, basically.
Okay. All right. Neil, who'd you have?
I had a number of individuals.
Oh, okay. Go.
I had Iku Uaris Rama from the raid. I had Tony Jaa.
Yeah. He was just a little short for me, but yeah.
Yeah, I looked at the same guys as well. For real.
Yeah, both of them are short.
Yeah.
But the thing is, my personal iconic image of Sagat is Sagat from like the Street Fighter Alpha series, where he's just hugely muscular, right? And like following into like Street Fighter 4 and that, Sagat's always been this tall, really brutishly muscular guy. He was only really thin for like Street Fighter 1 and 2.
Okay.
And whilst this person is not he's not a pick that people will be comfortable with, what certain people won't be happy with, I'm just like slap an eye patch on this person, give them a scar down the middle of their chest. They are Sagat, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
I contemplated him. I did.
I know there's people who are like, no, never. Well, fuck y'all, this is my movie now. Right?
Yeah, that's right here. It's creative control, baby.
Listen, creative control is right now. It's next to my head. So I say it right, but yeah, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because I'm just seeing what I see is, let's say I do have Andrew Koji as Ryu. The idea alone of before the fight even starts, you seeing The Rock standing there just eyeballing Andrew Koji, who I'm like, Andrew Koji's like my height, right? And I was like, I remember being at Comic-Con and being standing on a chair and looking at The Rock, who was in the crowd, and he was towering above me, standing on a chair. And I'm like, this guy is humongous.
Yeah. I'm the same height as The Rock. I just don't have the same build. So.
Right.
Okay, so that is Sagat. Let's. Who else did I have? I casted Cammy. I went for either Sydney Sweeney or Florence Pugh for Cammy.
I had Florence Pugh as one of my picks.
Cool. Who else did you have, Sasha?
I have few people.
Go.
Yeah, put it this way, I have everyone who appears in Street Fighter 2, the new challenges,
Yeah, same.
and I have 4 other characters.
Same.
All right, so Sasha. All right, so you do Cammy.
Okay, so for Cammy, okay, Lawrence Pugh, Samara Weaving, Vanessa Kirby, Ruby Rose, Chloe Grace Moretz, Tilly Keeper, Wallace Day, and fuck it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Carly Minogue still looks good. So a bit old, but it's a one and done cameo role because Cammy again isn't a character that has an in-depth story at all. She can have a bit part. All I see is a bit part. And most of those actors I mentioned are way too famous to be in my version of Street Fighter, if that makes sense. But if I could get them, I could get them. You know what I mean? But realistically, the most up and coming person is probably Lily Keeper, who can't do martial arts, but kind of looks like the role. She gets it because she's British and has a British accent in the way that you'd imagine Cammy being. If that makes sense.
It makes sense. Right. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave M. Bison to the very end, and then we'll cast everybody else. So Neil, who have you got for Cammy?
I had Vanessa Kirby, but I also had Natalie Dormer.
She rings a bell.
Oh yeah, I thought about her.
Marjorie Tyrell from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah. Good shout. Yeah, I like that. So the only other person other than M. Bison I cast was Akuma, and I went for Hiroyuki Sanada from Shogun and John Wick 4. So yeah, bit of an older statesman type character.
Interesting.
Did you guys cast Akuma?
I did.
Go on, Neil.
So I had 2 names. One, Joey Answer, who was Akuma in Street Fighter Assassin's Fist.
Right. Okay.
But that's just pure. Like, I love the thing so much that I was like, yeah, like if you played your role, you're getting a call up.
You get a call back.
Yeah. But also, similar to you, I cast a very older gentleman, Kari Hiroki Tagawa, who you probably know as Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat 1990s.
Oh,
OG.
Yeah. OG.
Yeah,
right.
he also played Hahachi in the Tekken live action movie. And I'm like, why not just go for the trifecta? Just go for the
Grand
trifecta.
Slam.
Get a man Akuma, because the thing is, he doesn't need it's like, to a degree, once you've seen Ryu and Ken fight, you know what their moveset is. You don't need to see their moveset pulled off over and over again. You just need to see the grandstanding of it. So you just need to see, like, you've seen Ryu and Ken, you've seen fireballs. Cool. Them fireballs are always going to be on the ground. This ain't Marvel versus Capcom where you see air fireballs all the time. So you're going to know that they have to be grounded. So when you see that one-handed air fireball just come beaming down, you know it's trouble.
Yeah, business. Sasha, who did you have?
I don't like the animated movie and it being Street Fighter 2. You got to understand, Akuma really became a main namesake in the Alpha series and not Street Fighter 2. He was an unlockable in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And that was the first time you ever played him. He ever graced the screens. He was
shit you had to do to play as him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he's kind of my post credits tease for the next movie.
I would want him. I wouldn't do a post credit scene with him. I would actually have him be just as subtle as he was in the OG animated film.
In the animated,
where he's in the background, and you just got to blink. You miss him. Yeah. That's a like a Marvel cameo back in the days when it's like, oh my god, he's in the background there. Rather than have a full thing.
Focus. Yeah. That's a good show.
Or maybe as part of a nightmare or a dream sequence for Ryu.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what I had. I had his cameo as a dream.
Yeah.
Or dream / nightmare / flashback. It was basically you knowing that, Ryu's got somewhat of a troubled past,
Yeah.
and you knowing that it's like he feels responsible for the death of his master when he was not responsible, because he was, he was sent off to go do something. So he's like, okay, you were sent off to do something. When he comes back, his master's dead, and he just looks, and the dojo is in pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just
All right.
like him having nightmares of all of that.
All right. Cool. Right. Sasha, who else did you cast?
I casted Nash,
Okay.
aka Charlie,
Nash.
aka Charlie, aka Giles' BFF. I was looking at Boyd Holbrook or Chris Evans.
Yeah.
The other thing was, because he's like in the Alpha series, he is more or less our replacement Guile, basically, because Guile's not in Street Fighter Alpha. Yeah, well, he's in Alpha 3, and that's hilarious because you actually see Charlie die in front of him. When you come up to Bison, when you fight Bison, Charlie, Bison just tosses Charlie, basically. He just throws his body, and it's like, yeah, come on. So I'd pick one of my Guile picks. Whoever didn't get Guile, any one of them could have been Charlie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of thing. They just played a little differently, but not really that much different. Plus, Charlie isn't a big role. He plays a part at the very start, because I would have the start of the movie be
his death,
and the whole. In fact, my whole. Well, are we talking about our versions of Street Fighter, or
yeah?
Okay, okay. In my version of Street Fighter, this have you ever played Alpha 3 and got the bad ending, Neil? Well, that's how my movie starts.
Jeez.
That is how my movie
That's what
starts.
I can say. Jeez.
This is why it's imperative that he is caught. You know what I mean? Because man basically atomic bombs New York. New York is destroyed. That's what Bison has done. That's why he's wanted by every international agency ever. And Giles, in my version, Guile could have stopped it. He could have stopped it, kind of thing. And he didn't, because he just witnessed his best friend get fucked, basically, and just turfed, just thrown, just dashed out a window. I want Bison to just dash him and have Guile be distracted by that, and then in that one moment he just nukes all of Manhattan. That's my opening to the movie. Nice. That is my opening, and it's literally all about he's gonna be at this tournament. Blah 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 blah. Let's get him. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's get him.
All right. Anybody else, Sasha?
T-Hawk. We never mentioned T-Hawk.
No.
I got Jill Birmingham from Yellowstone, and that Andrew Garfield detective thing on.
I've seen that on ITVX. I think though. Saw it.
Something on the Banner of Heaven or whatever. He's like a sheriff in that.
Yeah.
In Yellowstone, he plays the mayor. He plays like the mayor of the guy of the people of the natives kind of thing. So in Yellowstone, and he's a really good actor. Yes. And he's got the build of say a T-Hawk kind of thing, and he's Native American as well. So I'm kind of like, yeah, he's kind of perfect, to be honest. Just put him in the makeup and the get up, give him a wig, and he's ready to go.
He's quite old though. He's 70.
Yeah, but T-Hawk's no spring chicken either.
Okay.
And that's the thing. Again, depending on what you're having these characters do.
Yeah,
exactly.
Of course.
T-Hawk as well isn't really a major player into the tournament either. You know what I mean? And like Dalsim, you could, these casting stuff is just there. Like I wouldn't do much with T-Hawk anyway. Plus he beats me up on every single game. Other person I have is Feelong. Yeah, Feelong. So obviously I doubt we'll ever get him in a Street Fighter movie. If they have him in this Street Fighter movie, I'll be very shocked. And this is basically because the Bruce Lee estate are very protective over Bruce Lee now. They're very protective on how Bruce Lee is used in other media and stuff. And this is also why Fei Long is not in Street Fighter 6 kind of thing. Because they've just, even though they've said it was okay before, even though they've said it's okay before, they've just completely gone full circle.
Well, funnily enough, to caveat on that, I actually looked it up. What it is, the Bruce Lee estate they referenced Fei Long in their statement of, trying to protect Bruce Lee's legacy and not wanting any bad depictions of him. But it's Capcom's decision to not put him in. It's not they basically were like, we don't want any bad press.
Yeah.
So they took Fei Long out. They phased him out because of the similarities between the Bruce Lee thing after the whole, Shannon Lee being like, yeah, nobody's getting Bruce Lee again. But yeah, I mean, but that said, you got him cast, bring him in.
Yeah, I got him cast anyway. I got Louis Tan.
Okay.
Yep. He can redeem himself from being a waste man in the Mortal Kombat movie as Cole Young. No fault on him. He's just an actor, you know what I mean? Like, and he's a martial artist. He's good. It's just, he's just, he's just playing a character nobody wants to see in a Mortal Kombat movie. So put him as a character people want to see in a Street Fighter movie, have him more in a positive light. Otherwise, I got Mike Mo and I've got Arif Rahim. And both Mike Mo and Arif Rahim have both played Bruce Lee in different iterations of things before. And you know what I mean? One being in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the other one being in something else I can't remember. But those are my Fei Long picks. Have you guys got Fei Long?
Cool.
I do.
You do?
Oh,
okay.
Joe Taslim.
Okay. Oh, Joe.
Yeah, I have Joe Taslim, man.
What's Joe Taslim in?
He's Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero.
Oh,
And,
Sub-Zero.
the race.
Yes. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be back. Because the thing is, whilst obviously, yes, Mike Mo has played Bruce Lee, I think Joe Taslim, especially if you look at the films where he's been a villain, he's got like a sinister smile that I can also attribute to like arrogance. And I just, in my head, I just see him with them aviator sunglasses on, they come off, and he's just like, basically, he's going to have that same fight that he had with Ryu. And I just like, sunglasses come off, and he's like, let's do this. And have him land a dirty hit, and then just pull off that smile. And then it's like, okay, now we're fighting.
All right, cool. Sasha, you got anyone else?
Go Ken. Ryu and Ken's master.
Yep.
Gotta have a cameo by that guy. And I've decided to pick Ken Watanabe.
Yeah,
that's exactly who I had.
I'm big into that guy. I'm sorry. I spent like 2 weeks of watching Tokyo Vice like a motherfucker. That show.
All right. Anyone else, Sasha?
No, that's it.
Cool.
That's it.
Right, Neil, who have you got?
Right. So I'm trying to think of the people who I have not named yet. Right. So I had 3 other characters who have not been named. I had DJ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had DJ. I forgot my DJs.
Right. I had DJ. I have 2 names, John Boyega.
Okay.
And Mustafa Shakir, who plays Bushmaster in Luke Cage.
Yeah, I had him as well.
Yes.
I had him as well.
Shout.
I had the same guy. But I also had Michael J. White.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think, do you know what it is? My problem is I love Michael J. White too much to give him like a small cameo role.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had that.
Who else do you have, Neil?
I had Gen.
I don't know this character.
Gen is essentially, he's like Chun-Li's teacher, but he's also a master assassin, and he's got a big rivalry with Akuma, and he was actually in the first Street Fighter game.
Okay.
Right. So I had my first pick is Jet Li.
Okay, yeah.
Right. And second pick would have been Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen, yeah.
I'm up for both of those choices.
Yeah. And the only other characters that have not been named who I'd written down was Chun-Li and Julie. They are the dolls. So they're like, Bison has like, he calls them dolls. They're basically just assassins for him. And that's what Cammy was.
Right, okay.
Right. So basically they all kind of look very similar to Cammy, and they all have her moveset. With, obviously slight variations here and there. But I chose Jenna Ortega and Vanessa Hudgens to play Julie and Julie.
Okay, yeah. That's a good shout. All right, cool. All right, so let's pick our final boss, M. Bison. I had two names, very different, but the first one, I picked the Ring General Gunther, future WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, that man's gonna earn me some points.
Yeah, and the second pick I had was something a little bit different, Henry Cavill.
I had Henry Cavill.
Ooh, I like the Henry Cavill picks. Totally different than who I picked, but I like the Henry Cavill pick a lot.
All right, Sasha, who did you have?
I've had some fun with this guy. I can tell you this. I got some wild cards here, and I got some, and I think I got some serious heads as well.
Let's go.
Okay, so Raul Julia. Okay, he hammed the shit out of that up, but it works so well. So some of my choices go to some king hammers that like to ham shit up, which you'd probably be like, what?
Well, it depends on the tone of the movie, but go ahead.
But Henry Cavill wasn't one of my hamming up guys. He was, he was actually a guy I thought. But I figured if I was hamming shit up, how could you not throw in Nick Cage in there? Because it's either going to be genius or it's going to be dog shit.
That's a very fine line.
But I'm kind of going balls to the wall, so I just threw him in there. Right. I was like,
that is fish wire thin.
It's fish wire thin. That's why I threw it in there.
But a fish wire can pull up a hell of the size of fish, so you never know.
But okay, let me rein it in, okay? Because that was my wild card, being like, if I'm going this direction with one of my casts, because I had one name originally, I was like, ooh, what about that guy? But Raul Julia hamming it up, and he's great at hamming it up. I'm going to save him till last. You guys are going to go, fuck off, Sash. All right, I guarantee it. But
we're not.
From this guy, the other names came from. That's why I said Cavill. Cavill was the last name, but I was like, you know what? I could see it. It wouldn't be that, but Cavill would be cool as Bison, I think. But then my two serious picks were Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, that is a beautiful pick.
I know, right? And the other pick was Mads Mikkelsen.
Okay. I understand that. I
prefer Bardem, but yeah.
Okay. But the first guy I put down, his name's associated with action movies. It's Arnold.
Oh God. No.
You know what? He was very close to getting that sentence that you said you was gonna get. He was very close to it.
I know. I'm sorry to let you down, but I was just like Arnold being, with the one-liners and joking. Yeah, the first thing you think is Mr. Freeze, but you know what? When he's on fire and it's good, it's great. And I was going for hamming it up. But if I never said Arnold, if I never committed Arnold to the paper, I would never have gone, what's the opposite side of this? which is where Javier Bardem came from.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good
So, yeah.
shout. Neil, who'd you have?
I had one person. Well, I had two people in mind. One person, I've just had this person for years, and one person was like, "Oh, I'd pick this person." But I'll be honest, neither of them are as good as Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem is the perfect bison.
Yeah.
But the two names that I had picked was originally, I've had this name for years, Hugo Weaving.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
just see, Hugo Weaving as M. Bison. Or the recent one that I came up with today was Dave Bautista. Very difficult to look at, very difficult to envision. But I'm like, the best way I can interpret it is think of the level of ferocity he gave in, is it Spectre?
Yeah.
Right? Him and Spectre, that just calm, cool, confident, that essence of, I know I can kill you. You know I can kill you. It's just a question of how long am I going to play with my food before I kill you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Javier Bardem is so perfect that I've just like forget everything else, forget everyone else.
Yeah. There are two other names which I thought of. One was John Hamm. But then the other person, but it's kind of too not necessarily similar character, but the way that they probably portray it would be Anthony Starr, Homelander.
Yeah.
But it's a bit too close. So
you know what? The more you guys are talking about it, I think I was on the money with Bardem, you know?
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
Perfect cast.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is our casting for Street Fighter the movie. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What did we nail? Which ones were we off the mark? And give us your opinions. Let us know what your casting choices would be. If you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and that bell to get notified about our next episode. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, we are available on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere you can get your podcast. Neil and Sasha, anything else you want to talk about before we leave today? We all good? All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me, gentlemen. It is a pleasure, as always, speaking to you about movies. And until next time, everyone, peace out.
Peace.